Yo, what is going on guys, Flashverse here and welcome back to another video on The Flash Season 8, and for today's video I will be theorizing about how Cobalt Blue could end up becoming the main villain for one of the graphic novels for The Flash Season 8. Now, if you guys have seen my community post yesterday, I tried to upload this video and record this video yesterday, but there was a wedding outside, so yeah, the music was like crazy loud and it kept interfering with the audio, so I had to delay the video for today. So yeah, apologies for that. And also it's raining today and it's very windy, so yeah, I apologize if you could hear any like wind or something in the back. It's out of my control. So yeah, a couple of weeks ago we have wrapped up The Flash's 7th season. As you guys already know, I do have mixed feelings about the season. Apart from episodes 4 and 5 for the Forces storyline, I thought the Forces storyline was just unwatchable, and as well as the interlude apart from episode 12, which I thought was a really good episode, and that was a Cisco episode. But other than that, I thought the interlude was even worse than the Forces storyline. But the Godspeed storyline seemed to have redeemed the season a bit. I enjoyed the Godspeed storyline a lot more than I did the majority of the season, but I still had issues with it. And although we have wrapped up The Flash Season 7, we do know that we are getting a Season 8, in which they should be starting to film that in 10 days. And we did have some Season 8 teases from showrunner Eric Wallace as well, which is very exciting. He's been on various interviews since the season ended, where he has obviously teased some story arcs related to The Flash Season 8, whether it's a villain teaser, or the season, or just what we should expect in general going into Season 8. But yeah, since they are close to filming, I am expecting them to, drop some news pretty soon, because I'm sure that they do not want to get some certain stuff leaked, especially for the first 5 episodes, because adding on to the teases which Eric Wallace has given us, we do already know that we were going to be having this 5-part special event for the first 5 episodes of The Flash Season 8, where it will have some sort of a crossover type feel. So it's not entirely a crossover, but it will have that crossover type feel, because essentially, although it's going to be Flash story related, the first 5 episodes is going to be parts of graphic novel number 5, so it's its own storyline, but other characters from other Arrowverse shows will be appearing for these first 5 episodes, which is why it will have a crossover type feel. So you could see characters like Superman appearing, you could see characters like Black Lightning appearing, Batwoman appearing, and many more, which is very exciting, in which hopefully this can be the gateway into us exploring the multiverse post-crisis with Stargirl, because Superman and Lois has already kind of touched up on the multiverse with John Irons, who is obviously from another Earth, but we do know that Jay Garrick, who is from Earth Prime, is crossing over with Stargirl this season, who is obviously from Earth 2. So yeah, it won't be too long until we have an actual Barry Allen, Flash, and Stargirl crossover where we can explore this new multiverse. Now, we don't exactly know if this 5-part event is its own graphic novel. I'm assuming it is, but we do know that this season will be following the same format as The Flash Season 7, which does worry me because we're not only having 2 graphic novels, but we are having Interlude Part 2 as well. So hopefully Eric Wallace has learned from his mistakes from Interlude Part 1 and he makes Interlude Part 2 a lot better. But yeah, from these 2 graphic novels, which we will be having once again, we should be expecting 2 separate villains for graphic novel number 5 as well as graphic novel number 6, one of which is heavily rumored to be none other than Cobalt Blue. But before I go over anything, however, you guys don't forget to drop a like on the video and subscribe to the channel so you are aware of more Arrowverse content coming your way. So yeah, as we already know, Cobalt Blue has been one of the most requested villains on the show, other than Godspeed, who was number 1, but then he showed up during The Flash Season 7, but also Red Death is up there as by far one of the most requested villains on the show as well. Now, the show was never going to do the actual Cobalt Blue, which is Malcolm Thawne, who is Barry Allen's twin from the comics, but if the show was to ever do this character, it would be none other than Eddie Thawne himself. It would not only be a very cool storyline, but also seeing Eddie Thawne returning as a villain and having this rivalry with Barry is also something very interesting, and it's something that I would love to see. We do know that Rick Cosnet during an Instagram live a while ago did say that he would be returning to the show before the series ends. He has never specified when, he just said he'll be returning to the show before the series ends, but not just as Eddie Thawne. He said he would like to return as one of the Flash's arch enemies.
I'm definitely going to come back before the series ends. I don't know how. I'd love to come back as Barry's arch enemy because that would make a perfect arc. Also made more screen time.
It's highly likely that he was teasing the fact that Eddie will return as a villain with the blue flame, and that obviously being Cobalt Blue. After all, we never got to see what happened to Eddie after the Flash Season 1 finale because Eddie's body got sucked into the singularity, so he could have possibly ended up in the future and have been resurrected, and he could have been given the blue flame for all we know. Who knows? During one of the interviews of the season, and this was the first interview Eric Wallace did after the season ended, and it was with Deadline, we do know that showrunner Eric Wallace has teased one of the villains for the season, as he says, "I would say this is the season of Flash where we're making a conscious effort to turn Grant into the Flash from the comic book, the most confident, incredibly powerful, secure team leader. It's really a season for Grant to shine in a way that perhaps he hasn't been able to shine always, and it's very exciting." The question is, how is that wrapped up in his romance with Iris? They're in a really great place at the end of season 7, and that will obviously continue, but I think their biggest challenge that they've ever faced lies ahead, and it's going to be tough. It's going to be what I consider to be one of the great love stories in the history of television to survive what they're about to go through, especially in the back half of season 8. But don't worry, it'll be a happy ending. So breaking this down real quick, because this is very interesting and could potentially actually tease the fact that Cobalt Blue could end up becoming the main villain for one of the graphic novels of the season. So we obviously saw that during the end of the Flash Season 7 finale, Barry got a speed boost from the Speed Force, meaning not only has Barry become faster, but also he has become more powerful. So it makes sense that he's going to have to end up facing greater threats that can actually compete with Barry, because now if he faces some random metas, they won't stand a chance, especially with Barry's boosted speed, and it's going to be even more annoying if Barry's speed is inconsistent while he faces these much weaker villains when Barry has had a speed boost and he literally embarrassed Thawne during the season 7 finale. So it doesn't make sense that if he faces weaker villains, then he would more powerful ones. But the second part of what Eric Wallace says over here is very interesting, because he says that Barry and Iris will be facing their biggest challenge they have faced, and it's going to be a tough one in which it's going to have to be one of the great love stories in the history of television to survive what they're about to go through. I guess that's a bit cheesy to word it, but yeah, it just shows that, whatever threat they're facing is going to be tied into their relationship once again. For me, there's only one obstacle that can actually get into the way of this, and that could actually make it the biggest challenge they have to face, and it's Eddie Thawne. Obviously, the survival of Eddie will be a huge challenge for Iris psychologically to face, because she liked Eddie in season 1 and he sacrificed himself to save Team Flash. And to have that obstacle is a very key catalyst to actually affect the marriage of Barry and Iris. Just imagine Iris finding out that Eddie Thawne is alive all along. From the point of view of Eddie, he loved Iris and he always felt uncomfortable when Barry was very close to her. Not only finding out the fact that Eddie Thawne has been forgotten about, but also him finding out that Iris married Barry could drive him insane, which is why he chooses to go after Barry and Iris. And if done right, I think it could be a very, very cool storyline to explore, as it obviously says, for the back half of the season. So whoever this villain is, it will be for graphic novel number 6. Not number 5. So I'm assuming the villain for graphic novel number 5 will be tied to the 5-part event. So I'm expecting someone really, really powerful, because to have different characters from different Arrowverse shows appearing shows that it's going to be a very big threat which Barry cannot face off alone. But then graphic novel number 6 looks like we're going to be having Cobalt Blue, if what I'm saying turns out to be right. In which I would very much rather prefer Cobalt Blue to be the main villain for the back half of the season and not at the start. I feel that it would just be better like that, if obviously the interlude doesn't get into the way of the next graphic novel, just like what it did with season 7, because it just prevented the Godspeed storyline to have more potential and just to be a better storyline overall. So I hope the interlude doesn't interfere with graphic novel number 6. But yeah, hopefully we do end up seeing Cobalt Blue as the main villain for the Flash Season 8, because yeah, that would just be crazy. And he's been a heavily requested villain for so long, so hopefully it's about time we get him. But yeah guys, thanks for watching. If you guys have enjoyed the video, please give a like and subscribe. Be sure to tell me in the comment section down below if you guys think that Eddie Thawne could end up appearing as Cobalt Blue for The Flash Season 8 as the main villain for the back half of the season. And yeah, I will see you guys in my next video.